Excellent. So today I'm going to be teaching a CEDIA course, and what CEDIA is, it is actually an international trade association, and it's an education provider. So it consists of technology professionals like Boca and myself, and it's basically all of these technology professionals that plan, design, install, and program these low voltage electronic systems. And so our outreach education that we're providing today is really here to help you have additional resources as a design build professional and to help you to feel more comfortable about the technology. CEDIA is a global trade association. There's more than 3,500 member companies, and they all specialize in these types of low voltage technology systems for the home. Today, if we have any architects on the call, we are going to be earning AIA credits for the course today. Once the presentation is over, I'm going to be sending out an email that's going to have 2 links in it. The first link is going to be for you to enter in your information as well as your association number so that we can get the credits reported for you. Once you fill out that form, that's also going to get your certificate created, and that will be emailed to you as well. And then there's going to be a second link that's going to contain a survey that you can go on and fill out and basically give some feedback about the course today. If you wanted to see things change, if there's anything that I can improve upon as a presenter, you'll have the opportunity to do that as well. And in addition to AIA, this is also an IDCEC approved course. So for those of you who are getting your ASMD credits or that are getting your IDCEC credits, of course, you will get that as well. You'll get the same links that I talked about, and will also receive a certificate once those links are completed. Now, because this is an official CEU, this is going to be a completely brand neutral presentation. I won't be speaking about any brands in particular. We're going to be talking about these technology systems in general and the solutions that they can provide in relation to this presentation today. So after this course, you will be able to recognize the key areas of green and sustainable living and how integrated home systems can create synergies. You'll recognize the importance of making being green easy and empowering your homeowners by allowing them to measure the results when they go green in their lifestyle. We'll define green benefits of different control systems that are out there. We'll focus on HVAC, lighting and lighting control, automated shading, which is one of my favorites, smart appliances, and also water detection, and how that can all help add to that green lifestyle. We'll recognize the impact on LEED for homes. So for those of you that are interested in designing homes for LEED certification, we're going to be able to recognize that impact. And lastly, we'll discuss the sustainable living and renewable energies that are available in a home, such as solar generators and battery storage systems as well. So before we can really utilize control systems as a tool to help homeowners live a greener lifestyle, it's really important for us to understand what the key principles are for living a greener life. So one of the critical aspects of living greener really means using the resources in a home efficiently, effectively, and minimizing the waste of those resources. So the resources that we use most at home and that we have control over how much is used are going to include things like fuels used for heating as well as cooling, so the HVAC, lighting, appliances, and the water usage in the home. Later on in the presentation, what we're going to do is discuss some of the different ways that home technology control systems can really be powerful and helpful tools in these areas to really control those things that we have the ability to have some control over that usage. So by increasing the use of alternative energy sources, such as solar, wind, and geothermal power, the demand on conventional non-renewable fuels is abated. So control systems are great because they provide the homeowners with real-time data that's going to help them understand the impact of using these alternative sources. And that can help motivate them further to increase and expand on these methods. So it's going to allow them to be able to have a visual of what's happening and to increase on that. And in some of the recent years, control systems have really advanced even further, and we can now automate energy usage between different types of energy sources, such as solar, generator, and even battery storage. Those have all become very, very popular. So homeowners don't always consider that living green also means using systems and materials that are durable and long-lasting. So through proper care and maintenance, systems can run more effectively and efficiently, and you can extend the life cycle of those systems, and even the products and materials can be extended significantly. And that can really have a substantial decrease on the environmental impact. And control systems, having those in place, can be an excellent tool in these areas as well. And we'll discuss that later in the presentation so you can understand how that works a little bit better. So another important component of the green living is maximizing the quality of the indoor environment. This is such a hot topic today. Wellness living, especially in this COVID era that we're all living in, is extremely important. And being able to have your clients live in a healthy, comfortable space means not only that they're going to be comfortable with the temperature of the space, but that they're also protected from unhealthy and potentially dangerous air quality. So again, these control systems that we'll talk about today are an effective and simple way to efficiently meet these objectives. And the recent advancements in technology really has brought us products that have the ability to measure and manage the air, water, and even the light quality in a home to create a very good green living space. So integration is really there to create synergy. So the control systems in a home, they provide the ability for separate systems to communicate and work together. When you're utilizing this type of technology to create a greener environment in the home, it can be difficult for the client to have to control everything individually. But when those systems are integrated together, they all work in concert. It's a easy to use, simple way to do it. So we're going to look at the key components of living greener at home. And it's important for us to delve into the various systems in the home. We're going to do that on the coming slides. That's going to include the HVAC, the lighting, the appliances, and we're going to evaluate areas where you can have improvement and where these control systems can really be used as a tool towards the goal. So I also want to let you know that it is critical to remember that the various systems, they don't operate in a vacuum. As a result of this, the best opportunity for a control system to add value is through integrating these systems together. It's going to maximize the benefits and the overall sustainability objectives of the home. So to give you an example, if you have a client that's looking to use less energy on lighting, automated shades can be programmed to automatically adjust to provide the natural light level that's required. So that's going to save energy, and it's also going to improve the indoor environmental quality. Another thing that a control system can do is actually detect the indoor and outdoor temperature and humidity at all times. These systems are in place to make sure that they know what's happening. And therefore, they can actually be scheduled to open a skylight to adjust an indoor temperature instead of starting the air conditioning system. So by combining solar, LED lighting, lighting control, HVAC, and motorized shades, it can really give the client a significant reduction in energy usage. And all of those systems integrated and working together is what's going to allow for that to happen. The most important thing for helping your clients with greener lifestyles is to keep it simple. The easier it is to be green, the more people will choose to be green. And we're going to talk about keep providing them with knowledge. So the control system, when you have these systems in place, they can be programmed so that the green choices occur automatically. A client doesn't even have to think about it and push a button to go into that green mode. It all happens automatically. So it doesn't get any easier than that, right? And a client can also integrate another technology called geofencing technology. And that allows the homeowner to have even more seamless integration with the rest of the control system and be able to control those various systems in the home, which would be the HVAC, lighting, and shading, for example, and they can communicate with each other in sync, and that green experience really can be maximized. So to summarize this particular topic here, given the choice, most people are going to choose the easy option over the complicated one. So when we talk about control systems, it's important to point out and remember that keeping it as simple as possible for the client to live that green lifestyle is going to help them to make informed decisions and take action. And these integrated systems that are out there, they can be programmed to take on those actions in place of the homeowner. And that can allow everything to just simply happen automatically. It can be put into green mode, a scene in the home, and that can really take over all of those automatic adjustments. So I touched on geofencing, and geofencing using GPS technology such as smartphones, that can be utilized by control systems as well to automatically make smart green living decisions on behalf of the homeowner. So for example, if the system uses geofencing GPS technology, if it can understand where the homeowners are physically located, automatic adjustments can be made to maximize the energy efficiency. And of course, it's also going to maintain the homeowner's comfort and convenience. So as an example of that, asking a homeowner to think about turning off all the lights and setting back the thermostat every time they leave their home, especially if it's a larger home and it has multiple zones, it is going to require some thought and effort from that homeowner. Oftentimes people are trying to leave the house in a hurry and it doesn't come to mind to do that. So instead of that, they can push an away button on a keypad or a touch screen that's right near the exit of the home, the main door that they leave the home through. On that away button, it can be programmed to set back the thermostats automatically to the proper points. It can turn off all the lights in the home. It can even expand beyond the lighting and the HVAC and turn off the TVs and activate and engage the security system. And that's all with just a simple push of a button on a keypad or a touch screen. In some cases with today's technology, you can even do that through voice as well. And it is the absolute easiest way for a client to be able to live this lifestyle. Now, we talked about the client being able to keep things simple and to have an idea of the energy usage in the home. And knowledge really is going to be power in this example here. So efficient use of the resources is most definitely a design criteria. So using things like electricity, water, gas, oil, and all other consumable resources should be reduced and used wisely. However, we can't start digging into the topic of how control systems can impact building green without acknowledging that to properly do so, we have to be able to measure the usage results with hard data. So we've all heard the expression, knowledge is power. Well, control systems and these technologies that we're talking about are actually what's going to provide that knowledge to the client. And they're going to empower, that knowledge is going to empower the homeowners and the property managers to make smart green choices. So by monitoring energy consumption, it's going to be the first step towards reducing the usage of a home. So an educated consumer who's aware of their usage patterns, they can take steps to reduce their energy consumption. And being able to see that is really the key to having the knowledge to make those changes. And that's what a control system can provide. You see an example of it here on the slide of what a dashboard might look like that shows all of the energy consumption. Now, there's new technologies in battery and solar power, and they've evolved, and the pricing of those technologies has come down. And nowadays, when these systems can be installed at a residence, it can have a substantial ROI to the consumer. So for example, we can now create energy using solar and wind systems and then store that energy with batteries so it's available when the client needs it. And in some states, depending on where you're doing your projects, you can actually even sell the energy back to the utility, further increasing the client's ROI, return on investment, for these types of technologies. And being able to monitor that energy is important, but also having the ability to manage it and to make changes is the key to supporting the green and sustainable lifestyle. So what a client wants to understand when they're doing that to make those adjustments is, where is the energy being consumed? In order to address the areas where the greatest potential for energy savings is, it's important to understand the residential environment and where energy is used. So according to the most recent information regarding energy usage, space heating and appliances, electronics, and lighting account for roughly 75% of a home's energy usage. You can see that depicted on the chart there. Well, cooling costs are significant on average. They certainly increase, of course, when clients are located in warmer climates. I know most of you are all down in South Florida, so I'm sure you understand that concept very well. I'm actually located in Arizona, and I completely understand that. But there's also new technologies out there on the market, like tankless water heaters, and that's another way of reducing consumption. So homeowners with on-demand tankless water heaters, they can use less than 41 gallons or less of hot water per day and enjoy between 24 and 34% more energy efficient than storage tank water heaters. If you use lots of water daily, around 86 gallons, your client might enjoy energy efficiency of an additional 8 to 14%. So that is the statistic that I wanted to share with all of you. So that's one way to really help have more energy efficiency in the home. And a home control system, it can provide real data of energy being used, and it's going to be an excellent tool for the homeowner to be empowered and to then use their resources much more wisely. They'll be able to see exactly what energy is being used. HVAC systems, like I mentioned about the areas with the warmer climates and the increase in HVAC systems, they equal energy users. So with this, we're going to move on to discussing the general concept and how these control systems can impact the HVAC. So for decades, space heating and cooling accounted for more than half of all residential energy consumption. And those reductions in the area of HVAC are going to be able to provide the client significant energy savings. Fortunately, most consumers are aware of this fact, and there has been a significant growth and interest in smart thermostats. And it really is an important factor that's made the latest generation of smart thermostats so attractive, is the ability on data of the energy usage. So let's think back to the Kermit the Frog and his motto: it's not easy being green. The easier it is for people to make green choices, the more successful they will be. So when we consider all of the tweaks that need to take place for an HVAC system to operate at peak efficiency, especially in larger homes that have multiple HVAC zones. A control system is going to work with the home's energy system. That's going to make a lot of sense. So installing a smart thermostat, it is a very good first step, but integrating the thermostat into a control system that's going to allow other systems in the home, like the motorized shades, for example, that integration is really where you're going to enhance the green experience. So how can a control system make an HVAC system greener? Well, it can measure the indoor and outdoor temperature to determine if ventilation can be used for temperature control, which can save energy and improve indoor air quality. And by utilizing things like shades, as well as skylights and motorized windows, even when those are integrated into the control system, that can really help to reduce the solar heat gain and provide ventilation to the home. So it allows the smart home system to be able to make adjustments based upon the conditions of the indoor and outdoor temperatures automatically. And you can even add extra sensors to the home so that it can average the temperature between different rooms. And smart vents can be installed, which is going to really allow that homeowner to open and close vents in different rooms that aren't being used. So the control system can be programmed for the homeowner's typical routine. These are customized things based on the homeowner's lifestyle, but it can always be overridden to accommodate the schedules of the clients as it might change. So I want to give you an example of using this type of system, of smart home system, to control the HVAC. So if a client installs a scene, we'll call it the good night button, this can be put on a keypad that can either be on the homeowner's nightstand, or it can also be on a touchscreen or a mobile device. And when he or she gets into bed at night, touching that button can automatically have the good night command be sent, and that can adjust the HVAC system accordingly. It can also expand beyond the HVAC system and do things like engaging the security system, turn off lights and any other TVs that may have been on in different areas of the home. And it can also make sure that the garage doors are closed as well. So anything that is connected to the smart home system can be included in that good night button. And again, it's all about making this easy for the client and giving them peace of mind that they're being a good eco-citizen if they are coming to you as a designer and asking for a greener lifestyle. So it's a very important thing to address, and it just makes it extremely simple for them to be able to just hit one button and have all of these adjustments made automatically. Now we're going to dive into the lighting. And the lighting, like we showed on the chart again, it can represent a significant electrical load and cost in operating a home. So going green, it means getting a handle on this technology. So many times a client start looking at their energy consumption with very, very small adjustments. And that could be changing their light bulb, for example. And typically, interior designers, like many of you on the call, are going to be very immersed with the client in these discussions and these choices, because lighting, of course, has a huge impact on the aesthetic of the space. And maybe guests that come in won't necessarily notice the energy efficient water heater or the environmentally responsible lawn irrigation system, but they are going to notice the home's lighting and how it affects their impression of the home and the overall design. So it's a very important decision to make, and as a design build professional, something that you will most likely be pretty involved in. So of course, the future of lamp technology is LED lamps. And when I say the word lamp, I'm referring to the bulb. And the initial cost of LED lamps, it does continue to decrease as they become more and more popular. They do have a relatively short return on investment when they're used in place of incandescent lamps, and they are the most environmentally friendly option. So the incandescent lamp, they waste over 95% of their energy. 5% of the energy is usable light and 95% is heat. General illumination with incandescent lamps are on the path to extinction within the next few years. And also CFL lamps never became a generally accepted solution. Most people were not really satisfied with the light quality and the aesthetic they provided. They also do contain a small amount of a toxic chemical mercury that concerned a lot of people. So significant energy can be saved by dimming lights, and the LED lights are really going to provide you with the best dimming experience. So this is a great way for a client to do what's called daylight harvesting, for example. If they dim a light bulb by 10%, it's going to save them 10% of the electricity and also extend the bulb life by 2 times. Dimming a light by 50% can save 40% on electricity, and it can make the bulb last 20 times longer. So in the next slide, we're going to discuss lighting control systems and how they can be used to properly dim these fixtures, and also talk about how to do daylight harvesting with these types of lighting solutions. The nice thing is, with a control system in place, you can make those dimming adjustments and have it be a set standard in the home, so that even if the client turns the home on to full on mode, so the dimmer all the way up to the top, it can still be reduced by 10% with a lighting control system. The eyes can't tell the difference, and it's going to allow that client to always have that energy savings. And just another statistic to share with you, an average homeowner is going to save 75% of their lighting bill by switching out the old CFL and incandescent lamps with LED lights. And the LED lighting industry is the fastest growing business in lighting today. And it is expected to consist of 75% of the lighting business by the end of this year, in 2020. So if you look at the table, and let's talk a little bit about the graphics that you're seeing. So as far as efficiency, being environmentally friendly, the lifespan of the bulbs, and the beauty control, LEDs, as you can see, they're going to outperform one or both of the other lighting options on this graphic table. The only real downfall for the consumer is that they're going to be a bit pricier up front, but the prices continue to come down daily as they become more and more popular. And the money is really made up in energy savings that these types of LEDs can provide. So the key here is to find and work with a technology professional who has experience with LED lighting and is well versed in installing and servicing these types of technologies. That's going to be the key. And having it tied to a lighting control system is really where the client is going to see the most benefit. So people that have lighting control systems installed, they absolutely love it. They wonder how they couldn't live without it before. And being able to integrate lighting control with other systems, that can result in both money and time savings for the homeowner. So for example, being able to press one button on a touch screen or keypad or mobile device, like you see in the image here, to turn off all inside lights and turn on all outside lights, that can give the homeowner the ability to feel secure. And having those lights adjust automatically to dim down to those lower levels can, of course, reduce the energy cost. And it also saves the homeowner a lot of time from running around the house, flipping switches, and it adds a level of comfort and security. So in larger homes, a lighting control system today is considered a necessity to manage all of those lighting loads from a comfort and convenience standpoint. Really, that's where it becomes critical. In a smaller space, if it's something easy for the client to do, they're not going to see a ton of benefit by not having to turn off all of those switches, but it does add comfort and convenience, especially in those larger homes. And lighting control systems, They also can ease the cost of energy consumption in the home through proper dimming and by making it easy to not leave lights on when they're not needed. So to utilize that, really that's going to be things like occupancy sensors added to that lighting control system, typically found in the bathrooms, motion sensors as well in the exterior of the home, so certain lights only turn on if they sense motion. They're also, of course, can be tied into the astronomical time clock. So for example, it can automatically have the lights dim based upon the time of day it is. So for example, in the morning, as the sun is coming up, rather than turning on the interior lights, if there is a motorized shade system integrated into the lighting system, they can do what's called daylight harvesting, and they can automatically lift those shades up to let the natural light in, and therefore not having to use the electric light. So a lighting control system really ties together and expands the benefits once you integrate it with the automated window treatment control. So this is going to include motorizing shades, drapes, awnings, windows, and skylights. So incorporating motorization and system integration through these different types of motorized window coverings, it really can allow the client to experience not only that daylight harvesting, but it also can cause a substantial reduction in solar heat gain. So it's estimated that with proper shading in the summer months, it can reduce the energy usage in a home for air conditioning by 10%. Also, it can also protect all of the beautiful finishes that you've selected, the furnishings in a home, and all of those harmful effects that the UV rays can have in them. You've taken the time as a designer to select beautiful interior furnishings and finishes, and these automated window treatments can really help to protect them. So as we discussed in the previous slides, a control system is really able to recognize the optimal time to ventilate and can shed significant HVAC operational costs, especially in the swing months. So with lighting control in a large home, automated shades are also a necessity from a practical standpoint. So no one wants to be responsible for raising and lowering manual shades all day in their home. So why not have this type of equipment in place and programming that can make it all happen at the proper times, automatically and effortlessly, and really helping the client live that green lifestyle. Having those two work together hand in hand is a great solution for that. Now we're going to dive into smart appliances. This is another area that is becoming increasingly popular. And the reason for that is, a lot of manufacturers of these appliances, particularly major appliance manufacturers, they're seeing a decrease in the cost of the computer technology. And that gives them an opportunity to add this computer technology and intelligence into their appliances. And now these smart appliances, they have the ability to communicate with the integrated home control system. So for example, having a smart appliance in place, it can detect when it's not operating properly and when maintenance is required. And as a result, that appliance can be more energy efficient and extend the life cycle for sustainability. There's a lot of new technologies that exist, and it can even help your client preheat the oven through that home control system app, and it can alert the client when it's ready, and that can help reduce cooking time. And it can also have a practical way as well, and that has a lot to do with the smart refrigerator appliances. So not only can it notify the control system if it's having an issue, for instance, if the door is not properly closed or the filter is dirty, but the control system can also communicate back to the refrigerator as well. So for example, when the homeowner touches the vacation button, we talked about these scenes, good night, vacation, etc. That's a scene that's going to control multiple technologies in the home. And when the homeowner touches that button on a keypad or on their mobile device or touchscreen, as they're walking out the door to go on vacation and hop on a plane and they're going to be gone for 2 weeks, it will know that the door will not be open to that refrigerator as often as usual. So it's going to put that refrigerator into energy saving mode. And it will then have the ice maker shut off and wait to be alerted that the family is home and things are back to normal to resume again. And if the refrigeration door is ajar and the homeowner hits that vacation button, if they can be alerted immediately that the door is not closed and close it before they leave. So that's one practical example. And another smart appliance on the market that's also becoming popular is the clothes dryer. And dryers use a lot of energy when they're in use. So there's an opportunity to make a dent in reducing the energy that they consume. So one way to do that is to allow the control system to determine what times of day the dryer can be used. So if the homeowner tosses the clothes in the dryer and hits the start button, the dryer can then delay that start until the peak usage period is over. These are just a couple of examples of how integrating control system devices within the home can help reduce consumption and conserve energy, especially because these smart appliances are becoming more and more popular. The next thing we're going to move on to is another very important way to be green, and that is the efficient water usage. So don't forget the water. So have you ever been driving in the rain and go by a house and notice that all the sprinklers are going at full blast, but it's raining outside? Well, that does happen. I've seen it myself. I'm sure many of you have as well. And that would indicate that the homeowner may have invested in an elaborate sprinkler system, but there's no smart control system in place managing that. So a control system, when it's tied to an irrigation system, it can also utilize soil sensors and rain detectors and automatically know when and how much water is needed. So as a result, all of the plants and the grass that your client has are going to get plenty of water, but it's not going to waste water when there are times of rain and other types of water in the system that could be potentially detected and cause that to not have to go on. So with cloud technology, systems can detect also the local weather forecast and decide whether or not to run, which can help reduce savings even further in terms of water usage. And water can also lead to big problems inside the home. So when a leak goes undetected, the damage to a home can be catastrophic. I don't know if any of you have experienced that, but it really can have a big catastrophic impact. And control systems can include sensors that will alert the homeowner immediately if there is a leak. And that can really cause tragedy to be averted. And taking that a step further, a control system can also be programmed to detect a leak and then automatically turn off the water valve to minimize the damage. So don't forget that a key aspect of living green is extending the life cycle of the systems and materials in the home. So not only does preventing a tragedy such as a leak that can cause a lot of damage help the homeowner, but it also does help them be a better green citizen as well. And another sometimes overlooked negative effect of water in the home is that it can lead to the growth of mold, and a control system can detect unhealthy particles and toxins that might even go unnoticed. So that has a lot to do with living in a healthy, green indoor environment. So these control systems can really do a lot for the home. So using alternative energy and control systems is a great way to have energy savings, and taking advantage of solar and wind power is a great way to be green. So it's also true that the control systems that we've talked about go hand in hand with the use of alternative energy sources. So when solar and wind power is monitored and measured, users are going to be able to get the feedback from the energy that is derived from these sources, and they're going to be even more engaged in it. They're going to be motivated to reduce their energy usage and be greener citizens. And we call this and refer to this as the Prius effect. So what is the Prius effect? Well, it's a very simple concept. As the driver sees his or her fuel consumption, and the dollar value leaving that money in their own pocket, they tend to drive in a way that reduces the consumption rate. And then in turn, that reduces the amount of money that they spend on gas in the long run. So this effect can be duplicated inside the client's homes as well. And utilizing a control system is going to provide them with clear real-time data and feedback so that they can then change their energy consumption and be able to see how much it's going to reduce the cost of energy and reduce their energy bill. So that's the Prius effect that these types of systems can have, and it really can impact substantially the green living of that client. Durability is essential. So green buildings are durable buildings. If you double the life of a building, no matter what the building is made of, you have the environmental impact of its construction. So control systems are really useful in extending the life of the building. And it's going to help with the longevity of the systems, of course. So with this, we talked a little bit about this on the slides about the water usage, but a big part of that, of course, is detecting leaks, utilizing these sensors, but it also can help the homeowner or the property management know about issues that need to be addressed. So water leaks is a big one. It can also help with moisture issues that can lead to that unhealthy mold and mildew. It can also notify the homeowner or the property management of dirty air filters in the HVAC system, or even that smart refrigerator needs a new air filter as well. Another way to improve the durability of the interior of a building is by controlling the damaging effects of the UV rays. And that's really where automated shading is going to come in. And it's very common in the way that homes are designed today for them to have very large windows. It provides gorgeous views. It's a beautiful aesthetic of the home. And a control system can use automated window coverings to be able to be tied to an astronomical clock. And that can go a long way to reducing the UV damage to the interior contents of the home. That includes things like the furniture, of course, we talked about that, but also the flooring, especially if it's hardwood, and any of the other materials that you've selected as a design build professional. So the health and comfort of the homeowners is really the most important thing, right? We want them to be comfortable and feel healthy in the homes that they live in the homes that we design. So this is going to start with choosing the right building materials. Control systems can be used to monitor the indoor air quality and ensure that it's being conditioned as needed. So comfort is often overlooked when you're thinking of green building. So sure, you can dial back the thermostat and turn off most of the lights, but who wants to live in a dungeon, right? Being green means reducing energy consumption, minimizing the environmental impact, increasing the building service life, and providing a clean and healthy atmosphere without having to give up a comfort. And comfort is really what's going to make that house a home. So the newest trend in health and comfort is wellness. I mentioned that on the previous slide as well. So technology for wellness living exists to measure the air quality of a home, the water quality, and the light quality. So these systems, they can alert the homeowner when something has fallen out of range so that they can make the necessary adjustments to keep their residents within the wellness range. There's also new technology in lighting that allows users to adjust the temperature of their lights, as well to have the light levels adjust throughout the day. You might have heard this as wellness lighting or circadian rhythm lighting. So To give you an idea of what that is, have you ever wondered when it's a gray, rainy day outside, why that kind of puts us in a down mood? Well, a lot of that has to do with lighting, and lighting has a big role to play in our overall mood as a human. And just like the blue light levels in an electronic device can keep us awake at night, we can use technology to sync with our circadian rhythm to wake us up in the morning and to energize us in the afternoon and get us ready for bed in the evening. So this topic could be a presentation of its own, but it's a really important aspect of the green home, and you want to have the client allowed to live in a green lifestyle, but not to have to live in that dungeon. You want them to have a positive feeling in their home and sync with that circadian rhythm so they feel overall wellness. LEED for homes is another thing that the control system can really help contribute to. So we've discussed throughout the presentation control systems and all the opportunities that they do to help homeowners live a more sustainable lifestyle. So in addition to all of that, these system professionals, the integrators, they can use the power of the control system to contribute toward the total points in projects if you're seeking LEED for a home rating. For example, within the innovative or regional design category, points can be pursued relative to the monitoring system's ability to track, measure, and quantify that utility consumption. And that's going to overall reduce the environmental impact. Also in the energy and atmosphere and indoor environmental quality categories, the benefits discussed can also help gain points on that as well. And of course, there's also a clear opportunity to gain points in the awareness and education category, since the homeowner will be educated about the operation and maintenance features of the LEED home. So LEED certification is generally something sought out for commercial projects, but we are seeing it in residential projects as well. And of course, we want the goal to be that the home is LEED, it's green and sustainable, and of course, be able to have the client experience all of those benefits, even in their home environment. So cooperation is key. At home, it's really a collection of many systems together, right? And in order for the building to function properly, all the systems must be properly integrated together to operate as one. That's really going to be the key. And these independent systems can be installed, of course. However, having a client use those in a day-to-day environment all independently, it can become quite difficult for the client to use. They all also will have their own user interface, so it can create a lot of what we refer to as wall acting, when you have multiple different types of control systems on a wall. So by working hand in hand with a technology integrator, like Boca, you do have the ability to integrate all of those systems together and create a very simple, easy way to efficiently and effectively control the home. And really, the earlier in the process that you can plan for these types of green systems, the better. And it's going to help you to achieve that goal and to really make your clients' goals a reality and have them live in a green lifestyle with comfort. And that is invaluable. So to summarize what we talked about today in the presentation, we recognize the key areas of green living and how integrated home systems can create synergies. We recognize the importance of making being green easy and empowering the homeowner to allow them to measure the results. We define green benefits of control systems for the HVAC, for the lighting and lighting control, automated shading, smart appliances, and water detection. We recognize the impact on LEED homes, and we discuss sustainable living and renewable energy sources such as solar, generator, and battery storage systems. So that concludes the presentation today. Thank you so much for your attention, and I'm happy to answer questions, any questions that you have at this time.
Well, thank you very much, Michelle. And in order to sort of spur some of the conversation here, I'm going to share my screen and show some live data. And also encourage everybody to ask questions and don't forget to unmute. You were talking a lot about irrigation control. This is actually a live screenshot of the irrigation control I have at my own home. And you can see it's using intelligent weather skip here. The next run going to be July 20th, July 11th, July 17th. And that's based on the soil, the type of head, you know, a bubbler, a spray, a leaky hose, that kind of a thing, as well as the gradation of the soil, if you're on an incline, if it's sandy loam or just regular dirt. And so it computes all that stuff. And these are readily available things. I'll show you here. I did install a leak detector, and I left this one up just for, so on June 12th, it was noticing that that the front beds and garage was automatically shut off and disabled because I was getting 19.5 gallons per minute, which is 61% above its baseline. So that's kind of an interesting thing. And then it texts you and says, hey, you know, you've got a leak, and it shuts off that one zone, but then runs everything else. I would also recommend that if you are planning a house, that you separate your irrigation and maybe your pool fill and outside systems from your inside. So when you go away on a long vacation, you can shut off your interior water, but leave your exterior water running. And then that way you don't come home to, you know, a toilet or a washing machine that had, you know, that overflowed. One of the other things to show here, this is a live grid of our energy system here at Boca Theater. And right now it's a little overcast. We're only generating just a little bit below 1 kilowatt. And then it's showing how much we're using with our critical load, how much we're getting through the grid, and how much we're getting from solar, and then how much we're actually consuming in real time. The green bars are solar generation. The blue is when we had to take out of the battery. And you can see, oh, it just updated to 2.75 kilowatts. Cloud must have gone over. We can generate a maximum of 8 kilowatts on our roof. From a home system, you can buy something called a Sense. And that's something I've been interested in when I installed this years ago when it was crowdfunded, and it will monitor every bit of equipment in your house and try and figure out what it is: dishwasher, an air conditioner, electric car, you know, et cetera. And then you can label them, you know, as you go, and it estimates usage and so forth. So anyway, these things are readily available. Obviously, I take interest in this stuff. So I tend to install them in my own home and then figure out, you know, whether it's something that I want to offer or just tinker with on my own. So I'll stop sharing that. But if anyone has any questions on those, you can chat to us or unmute yourself and ask questions. One thing I was going to point out with your LED, don't forget LED landscape lighting. Not only do they run a lot cooler and you know, they last a lot longer. They're pretty much sealed bulbs, which I like since I've converted to LED outside lighting. I haven't had failures, and I used to come home almost daily to one or another of them not working. So you can do a lot with outdoor LED. So if you're trenching for your irrigation, we'll trench for your landscaping at the same time, and maybe outdoor audio and other technologies you can put in the same trench. If you are planning for efficient power and you're building a home, I would separate your critical from your non-critical loads. So that would mean anything that would need clean energy, which would not be a refrigerator, would not be an air conditioner. It would be things like your control processors, all your AV equipment, maybe your office, any sort of a processor or thing that could be damaged by rebooting, I would put first on critical load, and then after that I would look into other things. Like a refrigerator, for example, if you lose power and you don't open that door, it's going to stay cold. You don't need to put it on battery. It's going to be fine. And but don't rely on your generator Everyone says, oh, my generator will run. Yeah, well, that's dirty power. That is the worst power that you could possibly have. Worse than FP&L, which I like to call Florida flicker and flash down here. But what you really want to do is run things into a battery and run all your critical loads off of a battery and then charge the battery from solar, from generator, or from the grid, or any of the three that you have available to you. And those are things that we work on a lot. So if you need coaching on that, we're happy to help. I'm not seeing any questions come up in the seminar. I don't know if anyone has anything that they want to ask. Just don't forget to unmute yourself. We had everybody muted.
Hey Jeff, Matt here.
Hey Matt, how you doing?
Thrilled to be a customer of BTA and a bit of a techie myself. One of the things I didn't even tell you about is, and the group doesn't know me from a hole in the wall, but I have a special needs child that's immune compromised. And with the whole COVID concerns today, not only when you talk about mold or humidity issues in terms of home automation, I just ordered, and this is going to be a surprise to you, Jeff, a camera that detects thermal temperatures of people entering my home. Because with my child on Humira, which is not the best thing in the world to be able to share, it's pretty critical that I don't have people that enter my home that have fevers. So, we walk around and we see people, automating or taking a temperature manually sometimes, but it's going to be part of my automatic process when you enter my home, and conceivably that could, just like we talk about, temperature control or otherwise, it might be integrated in some way, because these are now available cameras that detect the temperature of a person walking in. I mean, there's a lot of stuff going on in that category.
Yeah, that's really interesting. We actually brought in for testing here a little kiosk thing that you can place at your front door that does exactly what you're describing. Put it in a small business or obviously in front of a home, but it has like a dispenser to wash your, to dispense the, disinfectant for your hands, and then it does a thermal scan of you and gives like a big green or a red. I'm not sure how reliable that is. It's kind of why I wanted to play with one. Marcio brought one in to the shop and we were playing it. It seemed pretty reasonable. We were able to fool it pretty easy. The thermal cameras are a lot more interesting. There's a seminar I just watched from Robotics that is doing that in real time, like in Germany.
Right. The other thing is, I have a home in New York, and we just installed we just installed a new driveway, paver driveway, and we put glycol-based piping underground, and we put a heat exchanger in, because there, when it's appropriate, we take the heat out of the ground and we heat the pool, or we can use it to heat the hot water in a holding tank. So that was another opportunity. So it's all about the cost benefit, the NOI sometimes, but it's also about, protecting our world. So proud to be to be a customer of BTA. That was an expensive project, and I can send you some pictures of that. That has 600,000 BTU while McLean point of service heating, and it has, as you described, advanced testing and weather through the internet. So it has to turn on in advance if there is to be melting of snow in advance. It takes I think I lost you. Did I lose you?
No, I can still hear you.
Oh, I see you're circling there, Jeff, a bit. Anyway, thank you, BTA, for all that you've done for us, and you've really helped our family.
Thanks, Matt. I appreciate it.
And you can see our pretty walls all over the place.
Yeah, I was noticing the posters in the back. I know exactly where you are. You're in your theater with your LED lighting.
I tried to pick a quiet spot. Yeah, LED lighting is a little bit of a problem because the loads are so little power needed to drive some of these lights. Some of these drivers are you really want to get low lighting, and so sometimes you have to cheat to use power or else put gels on some of the lighting. But I know that Lutron and the rest of the companies, they're working on improving this, and certainly it's the greatest opportunity for efficiency for sure.
That is a great point. I actually had made a note when Michelle was talking. Swapping LEDs is extremely easy to do, but there's such a varying degree in dimming performance. To get the incandescent, everyone assumes everything is 0 to 100% dimming, but with a minimum load of 40 watts, a 40-watt bulb on old dimmers is what you would need to dim to 0. You put an LED in and it's like 7 watts, it stays on or it flickers. So there are a number of better manufacturers out there that do support the LED dimming and give you either 10 to 100 or 5 to 100 or, better dimming performance. But it's not just go to Home Depot and pick the cheapest one on there. You won't have good results. It's not just about color temperature anymore. It is about dimming performance. So that's a very, very good point. Go ahead, Michelle.
No, I just wanted to add to that. That's such a good point to bring up. LED dimming is still called the Wild West of dimming because they all do perform a little bit unique and different. And one of the things that Crestron has, if you are designing a project and you're going to be using LED fixtures and you want to know exactly how they're going to perform on our lighting control, we have a lighting fixture test lab where we provide full comprehensive testing on those fixtures free of charge. So you will know exactly how that fixture is going to dim, that it's going to be smooth, and certain products can be recommended to be specified to create the best experience. So it's a really, really neat solution if you do have those challenges on your projects. So just putting that out there. But really good point.
So I just noticed we have Catherine Chick on this call right now. She is actually a lighting architect, like the real deal. We're not talking designer, we're talking architect on the lighting. That's what she does. She doesn't sell fixtures, but she specs them out for properties and indoor and outdoor. So I just wanted to do a shout out because we've worked with Casey on several projects and rely on her expertise to make sure when we get all done, we can hit the dimmer and it actually dims.
Thank you, Jeff.
Yeah, I unmuted you. Go ahead and say hello to everybody.
Hello, everybody.
All right, yeah. Very good. Well, it looks like we're about 10 minutes after our deadline here of 12, so I'll let everybody go. Thank you so much for attending today and for your attention and for staying after class hours here and joining in on our chat.